God of the universe, maker of the stars. Who am I that you would know my name?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Life on Purpose, episode number 84, with myself, Alex Stiles, and the OG, the founder, Mike Clayton. Y'all may have noticed if you're following, we did, of course, miss an episode last week with power outages, and as Hurricane Helena came through, Baruch Hashem, we were all quite safe ourselves, and our families were blessed, but we did end up with a few power outages and things like that. And we rejoin you now for episode 84 on words fail, a historic, a somber day. It is October 7th as we are recording. And I have never felt in any episode as I sat down with you, Mike, any subject more that I felt we definitively needed to speak on more, nor at the same time felt that my words would simply not be adequate.
I got that feeling all day, Alex. I really do. I want to ask you a question first of all as we come into this. Okay, I've been to Israel since 1998. I've been 33 times. I have friends over there that are as close as any friend I have in the United States. I've been there during the times of bombings. I've been there when buildings were blowing up and during the Intifada and various things. I know people that have been injured, people that have been killed. All of those things are very fresh to me all the time. I carry on my keychain a nut that you've seen that was part of one of the bombs that went off back in the early 2000s on Ben Yehuda Street. And so this connection that I have and this grieving over two more soldiers from a unit that I work with were injured in Lebanon just today. But Alex, you've never been to Israel. Your wife, your boys who have given sacrificially have never been to Israel. Alex, are you totally insane, or what is it why do you have this connection, having only opened the scripture, having only heard me teach about it? How is it that this is affecting you at that level?
There's a couple of reasons. Maybe kind of 3 points that I think that answer that. One, that there are very dear friends of my dear friends. So I may not know those directly. You know, Hanok Young may be the only fellow over there I've met. But I have very congratulations, Hanok. You are representative of all of Israel to me. No pressure.
No pressure at all.
Right. But I have so many of those are very dear friends to my friends, and I can see the connection and the pain based off of the reactions of those who have been there. I think the second reason as I come through is that as I read through, the writings of Shaul, Paul, and many other places, but Paul expressed it quite well where he talked about me being grafted in. And that I'm grafted into the tree that is Israel. And I think plenty of weird thoughts. I don't know if you've met me, but I picture when I see these as a denominational church, anyone that gathers, be you messianic, whatever you are, you gather and you don't focus on Israel. You're literally like this little limb standing out there saying, "Look at me." No, don't look at this tree that I'm attached to. That's unimportant. Just look at this one limb here.
Wow.
The roots aren't important. The tree's not important. Just me, this limb, this Baptist church, this Messianic group, this Episcopalian, whatever you are. So there's come to this understanding that is the tree that I'm part of. And that if I love my God, I will love the ones that he loves. I think those are, and I guess the third part of it is that that in some extent I try to think of it, as my homeland now, but I very much know that it will be my homeland,
Yeah. Yeah.
that I will be able to make, whether I physically have a a postal a mailing address that is right inside the boundaries of Israel as it will expand to, or whether I will be living outside and make my pilgrimages yearly
Mhm.
to Israel. I don't know whether how that will go, but I will have a home in the
Wow.
new heaven and new earth. I will have a home in Israel. Uh, and if I read Revelations correctly, I will also be joining in the army that defends
Mhm.
Israel in the final
Wow.
very final battle there.
Just as a side note, and well said. I mean, well said. I've that your limb thing. I'm going to steal that really fast. Um, but
Consider it a gift.
yeah, okay, I got it. So has it dawned on you? We're coming up on the Feast of Sukkot pretty
Hmm.
soon. Has
Hmm.
it dawned on you how much of you has changed in 2 years?
Oh heavens. Yes. As as I celebrate and as I ponder uh Rosh Hashanah, and pondering the new year,
Mm-hmm.
the new year and the new me, not to even be cliche in it, but a very serious pondering
Oh,
of, where do I go from here, have changed in my life.
okay, you cut out a little bit. You said where do you go from here?
Yes, pondering in Rosh Hashanah, pondering, where
Yeah,
do I go from here? That I have in pondering forward, I have looked in the rearview mirror and
yeah,
realized things have changed
yeah, yeah,
a lot for
yeah,
me.
a lot, a lot. So today we commemorate October 7th,
Yes.
a day in which there was a ceasefire. To remind people, there was a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel up until
Hmm.
the morning of October 7th. Israel had not launched an attack. They had not done anything, but yet Hamas decided to come across the border. Rockets were being launched. We know the hostages, all of those things. So to say that in any way that Israel was the provocateur of this is to be a bit naive to the history of what Israel is and the life that and what Israel is. Period. Okay. Um, I heard, as I told you before we came on, I heard a an, uh, a lady who calls herself a rabbi in Israel today that was in the pro-Palestinian march and just saying and was saying, well, we just need to have peace. We just need to all get along. It's kind of the Rodney King thing from years ago. Why can't we just all get along? So I want to put this into nursing terms.
Mm,
Okay,
okay.
since I got
Hmm.
my favorite brain nurse on right here. Have you ever had a patient that came in has a something that is life threatening?
Hmm.
Maybe been in a car accident and has a piece of glass sticking out of their body somewhere, or, I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of things. Um, and you look at them and say, we're going to have to do surgery for this in order to save your life. And they look at you and go, no, man, I just want to, this didn't really happen to me. And, I'm just going to leave it there because my body will kind of get used to it. There's a time, Alex, that you have to take steps that may seem
Hmm.
very drastic in
Yes.
order to get to a conclusion, which in this case would be restored health.
Yes. Hmm.
So, war
Absolutely.
is something that must happen in order to get to the the desired place, which is peace.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
anybody that's ever been bullied, the bully
Hmm.
doesn't quit because you ask him to.
Not because
The
you asked
bully,
nicely. No.
yeah, you can ask as
Mm.
nice as you want. The bully only quits when you become stronger. When you are perceived as stronger than them, then peace between you and the bully has been brought forth.
Hmm. So I am pondering, and I was trying to find the word immediately. I believe it was, no, I'll have to have you provide the word, but the word to cultivate and to guard as a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the word. I thought I had it written down. The Hebrew word's the same.
Shamar.
Shamar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
To guard, to look down that rifle scope down in the desert against the enemy coming
Mm-hmm.
against you as a soldier is the same word to hold and to nurture. Because that which is gentle, that which is precious, that is which is worth being protected, must be fought for.
Mm-hmm.
And to say, oh, we'll just stop killing, well, it sounds real nice, except it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see, you have to be dangerous in order to be safe. You have to be a dangerous person in order to be a good person, in
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
Because if you're, I'm stealing this from Jordan Peterson, but if you're a rabbit, uh, you're not a good person. You're just a little defenseless rabbit. You just die.
Mm-hmm.
You're only good when you have the choice of how you attack and have the ability to step in front of someone dangerous who threatens what you care about and be able to
Mm-hmm.
protect it. So those things that are good in this life are worth fighting for.
We use the word shalom.
Yes.
You've heard Paul. I mean, Paul is enamored with this. One of our people of
Yes.
our congregation enamored with this word shalom, which in essence it is translated peace, but it does not mean peace. It means may that which is producing chaos be destroyed. On the other
Yes.
hand, we have in Islam, we have two in Arabic, we have two words that are translated peace. One is salam and one is hudna. Now, the
Hmm.
difference in these two words is very is something we must understand that technically the word salam can only be spoken between two Islamic people.
Yes.
We can only have peace between two. The word hudna is another word and has been used and this has been portrayed throughout history numerous times that it means um, I will declare a momentary appearance of peace until I believe I am strong enough to destroy you.
Hmm.
So what we saw between the last rocket fire that happened prior to October 7th and October 7th was not a salam, it was not a shalom, it was a hudna.
Hmm.
And they believed that on October 7th that they had the ability to come in and destroy Israel.
Hmm.
Um, Israel, on the other hand, not to be judgmental, but it's just a fact. Israel was living at a fake shalom. They let their guard down.
Hmm.
And so they became, in the appearance of others, they became weak. And because of that, we have the day of October 7th.
Hmm.
So in our own lives, I mean, this portrays into our own life, and it comes back to the basic question: well, why war? Because there is something happening in the heavenly realm around us. Back
Hmm.
many years ago, there was an author, Frank Peretti, who wrote the book "This Present Darkness," and then "Piercing the Darkness." It became a smash hit during the 80s and 90s because it in a fictitious way it took the veil back off of this heavenly realm fight that is going on.
Hmm.
But today
Absolutely.
people are forgotten about that.
Oh,
War
yes. Absolutely.
war in this on this earth is a mirror image of the war that's in the heavens.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And that war is going on. We can act like this one is not, but it will continue to go on no matter what until the final day, which is the end of the book of Revelation.
And to try to live in this idea of just let it be peaceful is to ignore the fact that your enemy does not want peace.
Hmm.
Like the enemy that is dancing and celebrating over the dead bodies didn't want peace. Therefore, I cannot make peace. Peace is something that requires unified efforts on both parts and good intentions, actual, true,
Hmm.
good intentions on both parts. If those don't exist, then even the peace that you have is a lie. You have that hudna. You have one person waiting to be stronger than the other,
Hmm.
while the well-intending person is just sitting there allowing their enemy to grow stronger.
We saw this. I'm, of the age that I remember 9/11 very well. I'm
I
one of
was
those that can
just
tell
old
you,
enough that I do, yes.
I can tell you right where I was at, what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
This came about because the United States did not understand that there was a war going on around them and let their guard
Mm-hmm.
down. Now I know all the conspiracies and things that go along with that. I'm not going there. But what is not remembered for the most part, see, I think they should have once a day at least in the newscast, they should have a picture of planes flying into buildings so that people remember. But the other thing that was happening is in Arabic countries, Islamic countries, as the images of these planes flying into buildings was happening, they were handing out candy in the streets.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
if people don't understand, that is a celebratory thing. They're yelling. There's this weird yell that they do that I cannot do and don't want to. But they were dancing, they were
Mm-hmm.
singing, and they were throwing candy in the air, kind of like a Mardi Gras parade.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Well, the other
This
thing
is
that,
the enemy you
yeah,
face. Whether
and so
you're
go ahead.
active in facing them or whether you're active in facing them or not, you're
Yeah,
their enemy. They've declared you their enemy. Whether you are in
yeah.
any way think you're not sitting on the sidelines. Now you may be sitting there letting them run over you,
Hmm.
allowing them to grow stronger and doing nothing against them, but they are actively working the hatred against America and
Hmm.
against Israel even more so.
Hmm. And there's a key there, but I want to go back to something first that I've talked to friends of mine who are in the land on WhatsApp
Mm,
and various things. When the missiles there were coming 181 missiles coming out of Iran the other day, well, and some of what was called sympathy rockets coming out of Lebanon. When all this is happening, I've got friends of mine that are standing there filming it happening over their head. One of them decided it was time to go back into his house when a piece of shrapnel landed 50 feet from him. Others that I know, they picked up shrapnel around. They got great souvenirs, but who wants that kind of
mm,
souvenir? Uh,
mm,
and all these rockets that are coming in, one of them landed in Hawara, which is an Arab town. The other one landed on an Arab guy, killing him in Jericho, which is an Arab town. There were no Israelis killed. With 181 rockets coming in, there was no Israelis killed. And yet these people, I've seen video of them dancing in the streets. So you're dancing in the streets when the people that are lobbing rockets into your area don't care if the thing lands on your piece of candy or not.
hmm Yeah, absolutely. Mm,
I mean, how stupid is that? Yeah, yeah.
mm,
So let me give you a stat. I told you I was going to put a stat out here just to
yeah.
bring in a little bit of reality to people. As I was waiting for you to come on the program. I just got this crazy idea, and I picked out. I looked on my phone, which is very easy to do, of course, and I put in Israel square miles versus United States square miles. I mean, you can get anything on the internet now. A lot of things you shouldn't, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
says that So Israel is about 448 times bigger than Israel.
Mhm.
Okay. Israel is about the
U.S.
same
440.
size as New Jersey. Okay.
Hmm.
So America, United States, is about 448 times. I did not figure out if this is including Alaska or not. But over the last 12 months, Alex, there has been 26,000 rockets, missiles, uh, um, unmanned aerial, whatever, UAVs, whatever those, those things are, drones. There's been over 26,000 lobbed in from Gaza by Hamas, from Hezbollah, from Lebanon, and from Iraq. This is equal to the United
Iran.
States. Yeah, Iraq. This is equal to the United States in the same, if we figure the numbers out, that over the past year, we would have had 11,600, or excuse me, 11.6 million rockets.
Right. Hmm.
Now, if we would have had 11.6 million rockets lobbed at us over the last 12 months, do you think that we would be listening to anybody who is telling us to quit and to cease fire and to, oh, you need to just, chill out and whatever? Would that be happening right now, Alex?
No, we had 5 planes, as I understood, that were
Mm.
crashed or attempted, and we didn't seem to be listening to anybody that told us to stay out of Iraq. Mm.
It,
I
it,
believe that's
that,
what you call a double standard. Mm.
just slightly.
Hmm.
But, so we got to go. Let's go back and answer a question. Why
Hmm.
war?
Yeah.
It begins in the heavenly realm. But this earthly realm that we are in is where the battle for the heavenly realm is being waged. And it
Yes.
began when Adam and Eve were standing in front of a tree called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and said, did God really say?
Hmm.
It was a battle for the hearts and minds of humankind.
The very same battle that continues, and the same question that remains: did God really say?
Did he really say? So did he
Hmm.
really say in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, that in the Mike Clayton translation, loosely translated here, Adam, what you've messed up, I'm going to fix.
Hmm.
And he made a covenant with Adam and Eve that he would restore what they had broken.
Hmm.
And for 6,000 years, mankind has been caught up in the the war over, did God really say, and is he powerful enough to bring it to pass?
Yes. Yes. Um, yes, absolutely. And the same concept of did he really say? That there's still the debate of um, you know, did he mean that covenant he made with Abraham for his
Mm-hmm.
descendants?
Mm-hmm.
He did. Did he mean it when he told him this land called Israel is yours?
Mm-hmm.
They called it.
Okay.
They were back.
This land
Um,
is really yours. Yeah.
yeah, that he clarified this land is really yours, and that it continues to be a fight over what God has said that he would do with all his heart. He will do wholeheartedly. That would be to establish his people in his land.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because there continues to be a war against God, and man continues simply to be pawns for Hasatan in his war against God.
Mm-hmm. You go to Isaiah chapter 14 and you read about Satan's declaration. I will ascend into the place of the Most High. I will, I will, I will, I will. And this is what he is trying to do now. And we can say, well, I've read the book and I know how it ends and da da da. Yeah, I've read the book too, and I
And I could
numerous times, and I
and I could
believe that
never
I know
say
how it's
that
going
with
to
a
end.
yeah, and I can never say that with a cheerful tone either, because I have read Revelations and it's pretty
Hmm.
grim.
Yeah. How many people are going to die in the midst of this thing?
Mm-hmm.
I can pull up real easily on the internet the number of people that have been killed in Israel over these last 11 months. But
Mm-hmm.
so why Israel? Why is it that Israel is the focus? I mean, there's wars going on all over. There's a war in Ukraine. Who's saying we need to fight and we need to stop this? Oh, we need to have a ceasefire. All these kind of things. Where is that? No, it's only Israel. It's only
Mm-hmm.
when the Jewish people in Israel are winning, that's the only time that anybody wants to talk about a ceasefire.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because
Honestly,
as
yeah.
I said to a mutual friend of ours, Hanok Young, the other day, the problem in the world today, Hanok, is you're a Jew and you're breathing.
Yes. And I feel that the other answer I've got is why war? The answer is because they hate.
Mm-hmm.
Islam hates.
Mm-hmm.
That is the driving force behind what they do. They are taught to hate. The the problem with Judeo-Christianity, if you want to look at it,
Mm-hmm.
is it tells you how you have to behave. All right. Tells you you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, and it tells you you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You go to the scripture and the scripture will tell you, I'm angry. And scripture says, no, you can be angry, but don't sin.
Yeah.
I think that's Psalms 2. You can be angry, but don't sin. Well, you come to Islam and it says you're angry. Good. Good.
Yeah.
You can hate. You're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to. In fact, if you'll go out and hate and you'll be destructive and you'll kill other people, you'll be rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
So it says that your own selfish desires, your own base desires, shouldn't be controlled. They should be expounded upon. They should be encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason behind the answer to the question is why war is because they hate and they will accept nothing less.
You bring out that Judeo-Christian concepts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we could debate the terms there along the way, but it comes down to the same thing. We basically,
Absolutely. It's trying to get generic.
yeah,
Concept. Yeah. Yeah.
let's look at the 10 words. Okay. Let's look at those
Yeah.
10 commandments, which a lot of people feel like they're suggestions. Um, let's look at those 10 and and consider that this is a basis for moral behavior.
Yes.
Okay. One of those is you shall not lie. Now,
Yes.
it does not, Alex. I've read the verse a few times. I've even looked it up in Hebrew, and it does not say you shall not tell a black lie, but a white lie is okay. It just says you shall not lie. It does not differentiate between any of that. Am I right? Have you read it like that?
We broke up briefly there.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it doesn't say you shall not tell a black lie, but a white lie is okay.
Right. There is no differentiation at all there.
Yeah, it just says don't lie.
Is your statement false?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
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 it's binary. Okay, zeros
okay.
and ones. It's there's no middle ground.
Yeah. An acquaintance of mine years ago had been a bodyguard for Yasser Arafat. He's the guy that was in charge of the Palestinian Authority prior to Abbas, who is, I
Okay.
think, in his 20-something year of a 4-year term. No democracy there. So it's amazing how he gets every vote every year, every term. So this acquaintance of mine was at one time a Muslim, being the
Mhm.
bodyguard of Yasser Arafat. One of the he is the one that came up with the idea of hijacking airplanes. This was back
Mhm.
in the 70s. If you've ever stood in a TSA line and gotten really agitated, Yasser Arafat is the reason for that. That's where it all
Mhm.
began. I remember the day that you could take, I could take your boarding pass with your name on it, Alex. I could go put my luggage on the carousel. It would be put onto the plane. I could walk from the terminal without going through any kind of security, directly to the gate, hand the stewardess your boarding pass, and I could get on the plane. Could be done. Not anymore. Well, this man told me that when he became a follower of Yeshua, he said the hardest thing for me was learning how not to lie.
Mm.
Because see, in Islam, it is taught that it is a holy and righteous thing to lie for the propagation of Islam.
Absolutely. Yes.
So when
Yes.
a imam uh, goes to his mosque, he can say whatever he wants in Arabic, and then come onto a radio station or a television and say the exact opposite thing and lie because it is a righteous thing for them. So
Mhm.
these are the things, and we bring this out because these are the things that we're dealing with in our day. And for a person that's naive of this, they're going to buy into the lies that are being propagated of how many
Mhm.
thousands in Gaza are killed, and a baby that was killed, but you look and the kid's still breathing. And I mean, have there been atrocities? Yes. Are there mistakes? This is war. But when you see a person in a body bag, check his cell phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never understood how nobody seemed to have a problem with the statistics. All of these children have been killed as reported by the Hamas-run health ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to perhaps take a moment and doubt the statistics that are being provided by the terrorist organization?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thought. Maybe I also looked at another fellow he's one of these armchair general types, but he loves analyzing and studying things. And he released a video and he says, listen, I've got a problem with their statistics because in war, the same number of people don't die every day. It usually fluctuates up and down. Not according to the Hamas health ministry. They're releasing flat, steady numbers every single day of the
Mm-hmm.
number of dead. Don't be ignorant, folks. Like, don't trust the terrorist to tell you the truth.
Yeah. But Alex, what you don't understand is it sounds good.
Absolutely. That's exactly it.
Okay,
And the other
because
problem
people.
is that I'm getting furious with the CNN articles and any number of articles because how they word them. They phrase them to be sensational, not to be true.
Oh yeah, uh, when a rocket is lobbed out of Gaza, with no guidance system, or out of Lebanon by Hezbollah, and kills 12 children on a soccer field, that's a freedom fighter.
Mm-hmm.
When an Israeli in Judea Samaria uh, defends their home from people that are coming up to set it on fire, that's a radical terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to, I if people are getting their news off of TikTok, off of Instagram, off of most social media, you're not getting the news. You got to dive in deeper than this.
Mm-hmm.
This past Shabbat, Alex, I taught on Matthew chapter 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeshua was asked at the beginning of that chapter, he was asked, what will be the sign of your coming in the end of the age? And he did not start out with wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes and hurricanes coming into Florida and all of those things. He started out with these words: let no man deceive you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We live in a day that people are willingly ingesting deception and calling it truth.
Yes. Yes, um there's no skepticism on any part. People are completely gullible. Like, and I can blame a number of things on that. One, I mean, one, Hasatan's quite happy with this development. Okay, he's quite proud of having arranged this.
Hmm.
So bluntly, we'll go to the source. The other part is, our entire school system doesn't teach skepticism
Hmm.
as the quality, as the truly good quality that it is. We are supposed to be skeptics who measure the weight of everything that we hear and not to accept anything blindly. And then I blame this entire culture then of America in which we have now we look to our leaders to entertain us. Well, I don't like that leader. He makes me grumpy when I listen to him. I don't like how he talks. Well, is he a good leader? And we look to our entertainers to lead us. We want
Which
our Hollywood stars to tell us how to live and how to vote and how to make their decisions.
there's a fascinating concept right there
Hmm.
that you're for your guidance in life, you're trusting that to someone who plays someone else.
Whose entire job is to lie. I
Yeah,
forget which actor was. He's hilarious. He's like, my job's to tell lies. It's awesome.
yeah.
Eh,
The word in Greek actually for hypocrite is a person
mhm.
that puts on a mask.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
literally, which is the how the original actors portrayed. They would literally
Hmm.
put different masks on their
Hmm.
face to
Hmm.
determine to signify which character they were playing in the play.
Yes. So
Yeah.
people are being led around by well, they gave a good speech. I could care less what somebody says. I want to look at who they are. I want to look at their track record. What have they done? Not what they said. What have they done? Because Alex, I can tell you anything.
I'm about to make a very solid uh it's a harsh statement, and please understand I very, very much understand who I'm talking to and the audience I'm talking to. I want you to understand that the influential, most influential speech, most successful speech, most history changing speech, most charismatic, any way you want to word it, the most successful speech ever given was given by a man named Adolf Hitler.
Hmm.
There are, honestly, I think everyone should listen to this. If you go on YouTube and you look for Adolf Hitler's speech and you look for AI translation, you can listen to Adolf Hitler's speech in his voice in English,
Hmm.
and you should, because he's not sitting up there screaming, kill all the Jews, kill everybody. It is an incredibly persuasive, passionate,
Hmm.
charismatic speech
Hmm.
given by a man who, if ever there was evil incarnate. Do
And that,
not be deceived because somebody talks well.
hmm, yeah, I would much rather listen to somebody that doesn't talk well, but I can kind of trust them.
Yeah.
You're talking about the speech that was given in the Coliseum.
Yes.
I've stood there.
Yeah.
I've stood in that Coliseum
Hmm.
where that speech was given. Um, I was in Berlin. I've been in Germany. I was in Berlin, and I've talked to Nazi youth. This is a program that is focused for the most part. We try to focus it on youth, and I've talked to some of them that were so-called Nazi youth, and they
Hmm.
said we did not have a clue of why we were following this man. It was just a fad. We
Mm.
got caught up in the moment. There's a
Yes.
reason why in Proverbs it says, "Do not follow the crowd."
Yes. Yes.
And anybody that's listened to me speak it, for any length of time has heard me say, any dead fish can swim downstream.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know,
absolutely. I love that
think
one,
about
by
it.
the way.
Yeah. Okay, you can use that. Okay. So don't be
No.
a dead fish.
Hmm.
People need to stand up, and they need to. And this is why it is so important to know what the Scripture says. And this
Yes,
is
know what you
why,
believe.
yeah, yeah, and this is why I am adamant about telling people, especially youth, read the book of Proverbs. It should be
Mm-hmm.
on your schedule to read the book of Proverbs at least once per year,
Mm-hmm.
because Proverbs is about wisdom. It's about discernment. It's about knowing what is right and wrong. It's about touching the heart of the Father. It is all of these things. And if we don't understand that, we're going to be, kind of running to and fro, as the scripture would say. Not know, just following whoever sounds good. When does
Absolutely.
that ever
Because you
work
have no
out?
foundation. Yeah, because you have no foundation to stand on.
Hmm.
You'll be washed around all over. If you don't have a foundation to stand on in your life, and this is something that I have noticed more and more as I have leaned more and more on the scriptures as the foundation, as I have stepped into this Torah walk, I don't change my mind on things near as much. Shocking when I've got a foundation to stand on.
Yeah.
And there's decisions that are taken away from me that I no longer carry the burden of some basic decisions. I think we've shared this before. There are some decisions, like the weight of determining what is moral is not a weight that we as man were meant to carry.
No. Well, I can hear somebody out there maybe saying, well, I want to be open minded.
So
Um,
here's the yes.
yeah,
Mm.
go ahead.
Um, so the idea is conservatism versus liberalism, right? And that's the idea of being open-minded.
Hmm.
What I will say is the extremes of both ends are bad. Now, not what you immediately think of when you think conservatism, but this complete, like to be liberal, extreme liberalism says get rid of all traditions.
Hmm.
They mean nothing. So you lose your roots, you lose your
Hmm.
foundations.
Hmm.
Extreme liberalism says, get rid of the Old Testament. We no longer need that. You'll get rid of, you lose all your roots.
Hmm.
Um, Extreme conservatism does not allow you in any way to adapt to any changing circumstances and does not allow you, makes you rigid and inflexible, and essentially is a matter of taking away your free will. Extreme
Hmm.
conservatism takes away free will
And the ability to learn.
and the ability to learn and adapt.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So the path in the middle is that you stand upon the foundation of the conservative foundation, if you will, such as say the mitzvot, you know, and then you are able to adapt to a changing circumstances in life, changing world events, changing seasons in your life as
Hmm.
you go from, you're a student to your father to your parent to your working to your jobless. These are all changing seasons, and these are all scenarios in which you cannot react the same to in every one of these. But to be open, say I want to be open-minded, um, no, you look empty-headed.
Well,
You
it's true
know,
because, some people have become so open minded, their brains have fallen out.
yeah, and I love that.
Okay. Yeah.
As a brain nurse, I approve and
Yeah.
endorse this
Yeah.
message.
Really. Yeah. Doc, there's nothing here. Yeah, they're
Error
open minded.
404.
um, but then there's not teachable. Let me give you an example. And this is not as prevalent as it used to be in the circles that we hang out. But when I became a pastor, there were many that taught me King James only.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
there's churches even today that believe that if you're not using the authorized version of the King James Bible, that you're not saved. Okay, now I've seen an authorized version from 1611.
1660 through 1611. Yeah.
You
You
can't
can't read it.
you wouldn't understand it. Okay, it
Yeah.
has actually morphed and
Mhm.
evolved with
Yes.
language through the years. But I don't pray in these and thous. And
I
I
don't
don't I
speak
don't
in these
talk
and
that.
thous.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't talk that way to you, do I?
No. I'm a bit of a nerd and I still don't talk in these and
Yeah,
thous.
yeah. I mean, what does thou thinkest? Um, and so for me to be reading and saying that the only thing I can use is the King James Bible is to totally uh, disregard that today there are study tools
Mhm.
that we can use that can dive into the words at a depth that couldn't be done in 1611.
Yes.
You know, even
Yes.
when even back when I started this, I've got one over here to the side, but I can't pick it up anymore. I've got a Strong's Concordance.
Yes.
This thing is, I mean, it's like, I wish I could pick it up, but I can't. It's too far over there. My microphone didn't go that far. This thing's like 2 inches thick. It weighs about 30 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And now all I got to do
Yes.
is I've got an app on my phone for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, coming back around, all right, we need to be discerning and understand that many things that a person may have been taught may not be right.
Absolutely.
These people are standing there shouting, you know, free Palestine. Well, you know, I believe in freeing Gaza from Hamas,
Yes.
and I believe in
Yes.
freeing Lebanon from Hezbollah. Yeah, I got that. But to say to free them from the Jews, who are the ones that were supporting their economy in the first place, that's stupid. And if you're standing out there on the street corner and you're promoting alternate lifestyles while promoting Hamas and Hezbollah, guess what? If you were removed there, they'd kill you instantly. People
Yes.
haven't thought through things, Alex. They
No.
just don't think through what you believe and get some counsel, by the way, which is why people
Mm-hmm.
watch this program.
Hopefully. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You know, there is this idea though of say if you're in this process and you're living this n- what is currently called feminism. You know, my only word on feminism is that the most capable women I've seen are usually too busy getting things done to talk about their feminism and how under capable they are. Okay, that is my vote on powerful,
Uh,
capable women.
there you
As
go.
far as those who are on the Mary had a wonderful word for them. I can't remember how she described those. I wish I could. But if you have these who are who have made their sexual identity the entire cornerstone of their lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
because that's essentially what many are. That like
Mm-hmm.
that's it. That's the defining aspect of your
Mm-hmm.
life. Is one of your most base natures.
Mm-hmm.
If you've taken the one who your entire defining lifestyle is you're enjoying the freedoms of the U.S. in order to complain about all the freedoms and rights that you don't have,
Mm-hmm.
it's extreme self-centeredness. You're not capable of looking outside of yourself. Therefore, they're not capable of seeing a worldview because the world revolves around them.
Ah, yes. You're the
And so
limb.
clearly, no one would ever want anything for them that they didn't want. It's naivety and it's
Mm-hmm.
sad,
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
addition to being infuriating when you try to deal with it. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And all of these things that we're talking about tonight, you people may be wondering, okay, what does this mean in light of October 7th? Everything. Everything that we've talked about, all these little uh can't do rabbit trails because rabbits aren't kosher. So all of these little trails that we've gone on, it all goes back to what happened on October 7th, which
because
is
each and every one of these, yes, each of these individual things culminate in the idea that a group of people have a right to hate another people so much they can go over, rape, kill, kidnap,
Mhm.
and expect the world to support them. And then they all culminate in the fact that a huge portion of the world supports them.
not
That
even
is the culmination of every direction that we've of
not only
everything that we've just
not only
discussed.
support, Alex, but applaud.
Yes.
See,
Applaud and offer to help.
we've come to a place in our society that evil is applauded
Yes.
and righteousness is looked down upon.
Yes.
Isaiah would say a time in which right is wrong and wrong is right. That's where we're at.
Yes. Hmm.
We need to make sure that we're on the right side of history. And that can only be done if
Yes.
we have a biblical foundation that God's word is his word, it is true, and it is the only truth. Everything
Hmm.
outside of his word is man's opinion.
Yes. And that was the only thing he left out of scripture was your opinion.
Yeah. You'll know when he is talking, when he's listening to my opinions, it'll really be bad. Yeah.
Yes.
It'll really be bad.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
hey, this program went a lot of different places I wasn't planning, but you know what else is new, right?
That's pretty par for the course, I think, here.
I think it is. I
Mm.
think it is. All right.
Mm.
Blessings, man. And for those that are down in Florida, be safe. All right.
Absolutely.
Heed the warnings. But I would tell people there is one who knows the path of the storm. Listen to his voice before you listen to any other voices. Listen for his voice and get peace in your direction. And maybe those other voices are going to be ones you need to heed, yes, but make sure that his voice is the one that you're basing everything on. He's the one that will bring you to the place of life because he's the one that has, maybe plans for you for good and not for evil to give you a future and a hope. So what do you think, Alex? His voice, best one?
Absolutely.
All right. See you next week, man.
See you next week.
Who am I?